When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
In the alley, the scent is stronger, overpowering. As I watch, the overhead lamps flicker and wink out one by one. God damn it. No. The girl appears briefly under the last streetlight, the headphones snug against her ears, the Walkman clasped to her hip. She's oblivious as she walks, lost in her own world. Hey, stop! I need to talk to you! Then she's swallowed up by the darkness again. Helen, wait a second! It strikes her in the gloom so fast she barely has time to scream. She falls into the edge of the lamplight and lies there, bleeding, motionless. The man's skin is scaly, flaking, and there are patches of soot on his cheeks. He stares at me with eyes like midnight. Eyes that are devoid of remorse, devoid of humanity. He's one of them. I turn and run, and I don't look back.
The Road of Shadows, a new mystery and suspense audio drama by Mark R. Healy, creator of The Strata. Listen now at theroadofshadows.com.
This content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion advised.
From Killer Podcasts, true tales of the occult, otherworldly encounters, unexplainable events. This is Disturbed True Paranormal. First, we'll hear a tale from a grave watcher's daughter, narrated by Danielle Patterson from Reddit user OKDiscussion181.
My dad worked the graveyard shift, literally. He was the overnight caretaker at an old cemetery out in East Chattanooga, past where the asphalt ends and the trees start to swallow the road. The kind of place where even the moonlight feels thin. His job sounded simple enough. Keep the homeless from sleeping on the graves. Make sure no one broke in to steal copper vases. Keep the grounds respectable. But he'd always say in that quiet, serious tone, "It ain't the living that bothers me out there." I only went with him once. I was maybe 8 or 9. Mom was working late, so he took me along. Told me to sleep in the guard shack while he made his rounds. The shack was small and smelled like burnt coffee and damp wood. There was a little heater in the corner that hissed more than it warmed. I remember curling up under his old jacket, the smell of cigarettes and aftershave still clinging to it. and falling asleep to that soft hum. The first time I woke up, the heater was dead quiet. The night felt heavy, too still. And then I heard it. That whistle. Dad's whistle was sharp, piercing, the kind of sound that could cut through wind, rain, or trouble. It was the same whistle he used to call me in from playing outside. But hearing it out there, in the middle of a silent graveyard, made my heart stop. He was somewhere beyond the window, out near the older headstones where the fog sat thickest. I rubbed the glass clear with my sleeve, just in time to catch the glint of his flashlight. He was standing completely still. The beam of light moved slow, sweeping from grave to grave, then lifted higher, like he was looking at something that shouldn't have been standing there. The whistle came again, lower this time, drawn out, trembling at the end. "Daddy," I whispered. He didn't answer. Then, just like that, the flashlight blinked out. When I woke again, it was dawn. The heater was sputtering, and his flashlight lay on the desk beside me, still slick with dew. My dad sat slumped in the corner, eyes red and far away. He didn't say much on the ride home. Every few miles, he'd purse his lips like he meant to whistle again, but stopped himself each time. Years later, after he passed, I found one of his old notebooks in a box of his things. Most of it was ordinary. Dates, weather notes, names. But a few pages looked rushed. Heard whispering near the east fence again. Thought it was wind. It wasn't. Something by the trees tonight. Whistled. It whistled back. Little girl near section C. Barefoot. Vanished when light hit her. Then, an entry from the night I visited. Toe Jam's with me tonight. Can't let her see what's moving out there by the tree line. If it whistles again, I'm not answering. Sometimes, when I can't sleep, I hear it. That same sharp whistle, distant and hollow, drifting through the night air. And just for a moment, I can smell that East Chattanooga fog again. Damp, cold, full of something that never wanted to be disturbed. Then I think of my dad, standing alone between the graves, goosebumps rising on his arms, flashlight trembling in his hand. And I can almost hear him whisper, "Not tonight, not while she's here."
If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. Now I have high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network, all while keeping my phone, number, and contacts. Many of you know Mint Mobile has been partnered with us for a while now, and that's because I really do love Mint. Unlike my old carrier, Mint is reliable and affordable, so I've been telling everyone to make the switch. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/disturbed. That's mintmobile.com/disturbed. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. It's birthday season in my family, which means a lot of sugar, grease, and fatty foods. Normally, that would be the worst for my stomach, but not this year. I recently started drinking AG1, and it has kept me feeling 100%. AG1 Next Gen is a daily health drink clinically shown to support gut health and fill in common nutrient gaps. With 5 probiotic strains and 75 plus vitamins and minerals, it replaces the need for a multivitamin, probiotics, and more. In an industry where not everyone invests heavily in research, AG1 Next Gen is setting the standard. They go to great lengths to continually invest in rigorous, peer-reviewed clinical trials to guarantee AG1 Next Gen will work for you. Plus, it comes in 4 amazing flavors you're sure to love. I'm so glad I started drinking AG1, and you will be too. Head to drinkag1.com/disturbed to get a free welcome kit, including a bottle of vitamin D and free AG1 travel packs when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/disturbed.
Next, we'll hear 2 stories submitted by Disturbed listener Mike and narrated by Don Matheson. The first is a tale of haunted winds in the middle of a lake, and the second reveals a past long forgotten.
Many years ago, I willingly, but completely unknowingly, placed myself into a situation that, quite honestly, scared the crap out of me. I was an avid fisherman back then. So late one January, I made arrangements to rent a 6-foot by 6-foot by 5-foot tall wooden ice fishing hut, also known as an ice shack or an ice shanty. The shack was fitted with a propane tank strapped to the outside, which was then connected by hose to a small heater inside the hut for warmth. There were also a couple of thinly padded, basic wooden planks located on either side, which acted as benches or seats. So you can see it was far from luxurious. The hut itself was located about 5 miles out from shore, sitting on ice, pretty much in the middle of a sizable lake in northern Ontario. As functional as this cramped little ice shack was for fishing, each passing hour basically proved to your butt how uncomfortable and painful sitting there was. Especially if you're confined to this hut for over 14 hours. Some of you may think, why the hell did you do this? It's crazy. Well, that's what we fishermen do sometimes. Hey, we all have hobbies, vices, and addictions, and this just happens to be mine. Anyway, there I was, all alone about 5 miles out in the middle of a northern Ontario lake, in the dead of winter, sitting there in a cramped wooden box that, later that night, I felt could very well have been my coffin. As the night went on, a snowstorm moved in. The winds grew stronger, howling like the devil, accompanied by a gradually changing barrage of wet snow, then sleet, and finally hail. Of course, this is something the weatherman had neglected to tell me that morning, which he later claimed to be a total freak of nature. The storm rattled and shook the hut for hours, sometimes getting as loud as a freight train. I was cold, afraid, and alone in the middle of the lake. Then, a loud thunk. I figured the wind must have blown something up against the side of the hut. I thought, okay, maybe a chunk of ice or something smashed up against the wall, or maybe a random tree branch. But then, a few minutes later, it happened again, and again, and again. What the fuck is this, I thought. About 20 minutes after the first thud, amidst the continuous howling of the wind, I heard a knock on the hut. It was 3 raps, clearly the work of someone on the outside of the shack. You've got to be kidding me, I thought. Who the hell is going to be out in the middle of the night in a raging snowstorm 5 miles out? Who's going to be out there? I figured maybe the guy who rented me the hut, Tyler, was worried about me and was coming out to pick me up. but I didn't hear his snowmobile. I slid the door lock open and slowly cracked the door, wind whittling past. "Tyler, is that you? Tyler?" I yelled a couple of times into the abyss. Nothing. I slid the door lock shut again and closed the door. Then, 3 knocks again. Terrified, I rubbed off the condensation on the little plexiglass window and peered out. "Hello? Hello?" I shouted. "Who is it? Who's out there?" No answer. It was now close to 3 a.m. and pitch dark outside. I was really starting to freak out. I'm losing my mind, I thought. What the hell is out there, toying with me? Then I tried to rack my brain. Maybe some local kids were pulling a prank. But who would do that? It's too damn cold, not to mention dangerous. And if they came out here, I would have heard them on their snowmobiles. As I'm sitting there, trying to figure out what's going on, I hear loud, frenzied knocking on all sides of the hut at the same time. It sounded like there were 10 people out there desperately banging their fists and knuckles on the walls trying to get in, just bang, 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 bang all over the place. I completely lost it. I screamed and screamed, "Who the fuck's out there? What do you want? Leave me alone! Who is it?" But the knocking just kept going. Then I heard someone on top of the roof, dragging along the top, banging away. The whole hut was shaking, and my heart rate was through the roof. And suddenly, just like that, complete silence. The hut stopped shaking. Not a single sound. All I could hear was the howling of the wind again. Everything stopped. I was just sitting there, scared out of my wits, panting and breathing hard, thinking, what the fuck? Until sunrise, I did nothing but sit there, listening for whatever it was to start again, but wondering, are they gone? Whatever it is, or whoever it is, are they actually gone? Or are they just patiently waiting out there, waiting for me to crack open the door so they can grab me and do God knows what to me? Eventually, I heard a snowmobile approaching in the distance. As it got closer, I finally felt like I could breathe. I was starting to feel a little safer and realized I just dodged a bullet. Probably more like a cannonball. I listened as the snowmobile stopped, and then I heard footsteps crunching in the snow as someone approached my fish hut. Then finally, they knocked on the door. I said, "Tyler, is that you? Tyler?" He laughed and said with a bit of attitude, "Hell no, it's just me, Santa Claus. I'm wondering if you could help me find my lost reindeer." "Of course it's me. Who did you think it was going to be?" Relieved, I swung open the door and saw that it was actually him. I finally felt safe. He then said to me, "Holy shit, man, what happened here? That storm drifted like 3 feet of snow up the sides of your hut. But there's footprints all over the place, all around it. Did you have a party down here last night or something? Did you have some visitors?" I stepped out of the hut, and sure enough, there were piles of fresh snow around everywhere. But all around the hut, it looked like it had been trampled down by someone or something. The wind had blown over the tracks, so you couldn't really tell what kind of footprints they were. They looked large, and there were lots of them. I followed the tracks away from the hut, and they seemed to scatter off in all directions, going further out into the lake. I have no idea what really happened that night, but I know one thing's for sure. That was the last time I ever went on an overnight fishing trip.
As the weather cools, I'm swapping in pieces that actually get the job done. Warm, durable, and built to last. And Quince delivers every time, with wardrobe staples that'll carry you through the season. Quince has the kind of fall staples you'll actually want to wear on repeat, like 100% Mongolian cashmere from just $60, classic fit denim, and real leather and wool outerwear that looks sharp and holds up. I've really been enjoying my new organic stretch corduroy overshirt. It's stylish and comfortable, and makes me excited for the weather to drop, because I want to wear it all the time. I also just grabbed a cotton velvet quilt from Quince in preparation for winter. My wife loves the color, and the kids love how soft it is. Layer up this fall with pieces that feel as good as they look. Go to quince.com/disturbed for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. That's QUINCE.com/disturbed. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/disturbed. As a father of 4, there's nothing more important than the safety of my family. After we moved into a new house, I wanted a security system that didn't just catch criminals, but stopped crime in the first place. That's why I got Simply Safe. Their AI-powered cameras detect threats while they are still outside your home and alert real security agents. It's a game changer. They take action in real time, confronting the intruder, letting them know they're being watched on camera, and that the police are on their way, and even sounding a loud siren and triggering a spotlight if needed. That is real security. And it's why Simply Safe was named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report for 5 years running. Now I have peace of mind while I'm out of the house. Simply Safe is incredibly dependable. The monitoring system is fast and reliable, and the app is super easy to use, so I'm always able to check in. Simply Safe protects not only your family, but your wallet too. There's no long-term contracts, no hidden fees, and you can cancel at any time. Plus, with a 60-day money-back guarantee, there's no risk to try it out. For anyone looking to protect their home or business, I definitely recommend Simply Safe. Right now, Disturbed listeners can save 50% on a Simply Safe home security system at simplysafe.com/disturbed. That's simplysafe.com/disturbed. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
I've got one more story for you, but this time I'll take you way back. When I was 15, being young and stupid and bored, my friend John and I would stay up late at night and sneak out of the house to hang out. One time we decided we'd go for a walk at about midnight. We went to a large nearby wooded area that had a large park, baseball diamonds, a lot of hiking trails, and cliffs going down to a lake. It was freezing cold with snow flurries, but we weren't going to let that stop us. We came upon this very large pond, maybe even a small lake. I figured it's probably about 15 feet deep in the middle. Being the dead of winter, the surface had frozen over. While we were just walking around, one of us jumped out on the ice and said, "Hey, this seems to be safe." We walked out into the middle of the pond, and in a split second, the ice gave way. We crashed into the water, and our bodies immediately turned to lead. We tried treading water, but we were panicking. I thought I was going to die. Miraculously, I spotted a fallen tree close by. I was able to reach a branch and pull myself halfway out. John grabbed my leg and climbed over top of me, getting back onto the ice and then pulling me all the way out of the water. We knew we didn't have much time. We were sopping wet and it was well below freezing. So we needed to find warmth or shelter as quickly as possible. Home was definitely too far away, but we ran anyway, hoping to find something that would work. Our hair was frozen solid already, and our clothes weren't far behind. We racked our brains for a solution. There were no homes, stores, or gas stations in the area, but there was an old abandoned dance hall from the 20s. It would have to do. We headed in that direction and found it boarded up like always. We found a window at knee level and kicked over and over until the boards broke. We pushed them out of the way and slowly lowered ourselves into the basement. Luckily, I always kept a lighter and a little plastic bag in my pocket. It didn't get waterlogged when I fell in. We found some old newspapers and wood and made a couple of impromptu torches. Protected from the winds and slowly being warmed by the fire, we started to recover. In the meantime, we explored the hall, partly to keep our blood flowing, and partly just out of curiosity. The place had old brick walls and a bunch of barrels. It was very musty and run down. No one had been there in a long time. We stumbled upon some old burlap sacks and wrapped them around our bodies for additional warmth. Finally, taking a seat. Then the weirdest, craziest thing happened. All of a sudden, we heard music. The sounds of laughter, dancing, and glasses clinking poured in through the ceiling. It was like dozens of people had populated the dance floor above us for a New Year's Eve celebration. It wasn't like just one of us heard it and we were having a middle break or something. We were both listening and saying, "Do you hear that? Yeah, I hear that." Then we heard somebody with a microphone talking, addressing the crowd, and they were all clapping and cheering. Then another song started, and the dancing started again. This went on for a few minutes, and then suddenly it stopped. Dead silence again. All we could hear was the wind blowing and our breathing. We looked at each other and said, "Did that really happen just now?" Before we had an explanation, we found something that raised more questions. A pile of human hair. Long, curly, brown locks sat unsuspectingly in the corner, and there was so much of it that it could have easily filled a few pillows. While we were talking about it, trying to figure out what had happened, the music and dancing started again above us. We looked at each other, eyebrows raised, thinking, what the hell is going on? There was no way there could actually be people up there. It was close to 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was pitch dark. We decided we had to go see for ourselves. We headed up the creaky wood staircase and arrived at the door to the dance hall, padlocked. We pounded on the door, calling out to the other side, but no one opened it. We heard the music, dancing, and chatter on the other side, but it stopped again, like someone had pressed a button. We didn't want to stick around any longer. We figured we were warmed up enough to leave, so we crawled back out the window. Before leaving, we took one last peek at the hall through a higher window, but it was empty. John and I ran off into the darkness and made it home safely. Our parents were none the wiser. They never found out that we'd fallen through the ice and almost died, and we never told them about breaking into that building. A few days later, we returned to the hall, this time in the daylight, in search for answers. The window we broke in through had been boarded up again, and now extra screws and layers of wood were on every entrance. Again, we peered into the dance hall, and again we saw nothing but a layer of dust and filth. We discussed it many times over the years, joking, "Remember that freaky thing that happened?" We wondered what it could have been. We thought maybe we had gone back in time somehow, like we went into some invisible time machine. We wondered if maybe when we fell through the ice and both of us were just close to death, we were in the early stages of hypothermia and our brains were going to mush. But how would the two of us both have the exact same thing happen to us at the same time and hear the same thing? I don't have any answers, but that's my story.
Want more Disturbed? Check out our Patreon for member-exclusive content, early merch access, and other cool perks. I'm your host, Doug Bailey, and this has been Disturbed, a production of Killer Podcasts and part of the Evergreen Network. For more paranormal and true crime shows, visit killerpodcasts.com. Follow our social channels at Disturbed Podcast on Instagram or Disturbed_pod on Twitter. If you enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing and reviewing on your favorite listening platform. Share your own true horror story at disturbedpodcast.com. Music by Epidemic Sound and by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Our producer is Declan Roars. Audio engineering by Nathan Corson, Will Pritz, and Sean Rule Hoffman. Executive producer Bridget Coyne. Until next time, stay safe out there.